For basically all of history, life was defined by place, right? You lived where you worked, simple as that. But what if that link was just broken? So let's really get into this, because what's happening right now with technology and this deep, deep desire for freedom, it's completely rewriting the rule book for work and, well, for life.
I mean, just think about the old way. We all know it, right? The commute, the cubicle, that same old 9 to 5 routine, day after day. Now, let's just flip that completely. Picture it. Your laptop's open at a cafe by the beach, or you're on a call with mountains right behind you. And look, this isn't some far-off fantasy anymore. This is the new way. It's a whole lifestyle that's all about freedom, flexibility, and really designing the life you actually want to live. Okay, so what is it? What's the big pull here? What's this incredible allure of a borderless life? It really boils down to this: the dream of anywhere. The idea that your office isn't a building anymore. It's just wherever you and a decent Wi-Fi signal happen to be. But, this didn't just happen overnight. Not at all. It was built up piece by piece over time. First, you had broadband internet really taking off in the early 2000s. That was the foundation. Then, the 2010s brought us the cloud and all these amazing collaboration apps. Think Slack, Zoom, you name it. But the final piece of the puzzle, the biggest barrier, was always culture. And then, 2020 happened. The pandemic didn't just crack that barrier. It absolutely blew the doors wide open.
So, for the people who actually take the plunge, the benefits seem to rest on these four big pillars. First up is lifestyle design. I mean, the actual power to choose where you wake up every morning. Then there's cultural immersion, and this is key. You're living like a local, not just passing through like a tourist. You also find this incredible global community in these hubs, places like Lisbon or Bali. And maybe the biggest one for a lot of folks, the huge gains for your mental health, just escaping that corporate grind. When you really strip it all away, it comes down to this one really powerful idea. This isn't just about cool travel photos. It's about reclaiming the things that matter most: your time, your freedom, and frankly, your own identity. And you gotta understand, this isn't just one type of person. We're talking about a huge range of people. You've got the software engineer coding away in a camper van, the writer finding inspiration exploring Morocco, the entrepreneur running a whole company from Lisbon. This is the new workforce. Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second. It's not all perfect sunsets and amazing Instagram shots. There's a flip side to this, because every dream has its reality check, and the freedom of being a digital nomad, well, it definitely comes with some hidden costs. And that brings us to the big critical question, right? Is this whole thing really a permanent paradise? Or is there a tougher, maybe even a darker side to being constantly on the move?
Yeah, behind that glossy dream are some very, very real struggles. Think about it. The loneliness of always saying goodbye, the absolute headache of visas, taxes, and legal stuff. And that's before you even get to the day-to-day grind of spotty internet, crazy time zones, and figuring out healthcare. And then there's the big ethical question. What about the impact on locals when rents start to skyrocket?
But here's the thing. This whole movement has gotten so big that the world is being forced to pay attention and adapt. It's not just a few people changing their lives anymore. We're talking about entire institutions starting to respond. What we're really seeing here is a brand new kind of migration. I mean, these aren't your typical expats. They're more like mobile citizens, not really tied to any one country. And this has kicked off a kind of global competition, with countries literally fighting to attract this new pool of talent. So how are they competing? By rolling out the welcome mat, basically. We're seeing the rise of these special digital nomad visas. You've got Estonia, who was a real pioneer in the EO. Portugal's made it super easy to set up in a popular hub. And then you have countries like Barbados and Costa Rica that are literally marketing their pura vida lifestyle to bring people in. So all of this, it forces us to zoom way out and ask some much better questions. This isn't just about where you can take your laptop anymore. This is about the future of work itself, what community means, and maybe even what national identity is going to look like. And that leaves us with some huge questions for the future, right? Are companies really going to adapt to this? Are borders going to have to become more fluid? Is this whole thing just going to be a lifestyle for a privileged few? Or could it actually become the new normal? When you boil it all down, maybe it comes to this fundamental question. Is this whole movement going to spread opportunity and talent around the globe? Or is it just going to create an even bigger divide between the people who can do this and everyone who gets left behind?
Look, for the first time in history, work and place are truly being separated. That's a massive shift. So as we all start to leave the old idea of the office behind, the huge, profound question we're all left with is, what do we build in its place?